Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me on the set of Wicked. It's great to be here, and yes, as Linda explained, I'm the marketing manager for eResearch SA. I've been at URSA for about 7 years now, and because of the collaborative nature of our management team, I've worked quite widely across the business. I'm here today to talk to you about URSA's innovation culture, and in summary, the talk is going to give you a sort of a quick history of URSA, talk about how we built our innovation culture or how it built us, talk about what innovation is and why you might not want it, and how that experience has led us to build our new innovation platform. Okay, so a little bit about URSA. So we are a state-based service provider operating out of Adelaide, and that's a picture of the beautiful Torrens Vista. We're a collaborative joint venture of the 3 universities there, so Flinders University, the University of Adelaide and the University of South Australia. We were established by those institutions to support their research with IT. Our project collaborators are sort of in the Goldilocks zone. It's the perfect number. 2 wouldn't have been enough universities and 4 would have been difficult in an environment like South Australia. And they set us up around about 20 years ago to help distribute the financial burden of purchasing HPC infrastructure. In 2007, the landscape changed and eResearch technologies like data management, data storage and visualisation started to emerge, and we were born again as eResearch SA. We went through a second transformation in 2012, and that's when we began to shape what we look like now, URSA. So we started as an unincorporated joint venture, and we incorporated probably about 2 years ago, so now we're an incorporated joint venture, and we provide solutions to researchers who need joined-up compute, storage, cloud services. URSA is also South Australia's link to national infrastructure funding, and we work on a number of national projects around research infrastructure and data services, and we sort of support researchers in the areas of ecology, medical and health, cultures and community, and we've also done a fair bit of work in the user support space. So those are just some examples of who we are and what we do. Okay, so this is what URSA looks like today. So if you're not really meant to know who these people are, but you might recognise me. As you can see, you'll probably be able to notice a few things from this chart, that we are a very small team. There's, we like to say 15, but there's only 14 heads on that picture. And it's also a really flat structure. Probably what you can't tell from that picture is one thing that we're really proud of, and something that we do very well, is that the management team is extremely collaborative. We work together to troubleshoot whatever emerges in the business. So just recently, we've worked together to come up with a service delivery pipeline. We work through any sort of staff and HR issues and in a positive sense as well, so what can we do to encourage team building. We also work together on internal implementation, so recently we introduced SharePoint and the sort of dynamic CRM system, and we're also in the process of building a portal so users can kind of log in and access our services instantly. And the group also plans strategically together, so we have team building days where we talk about each of our areas and plan the next sort of 12 months and beyond as a team. The other thing that hopefully you see is that all of those departments are equally weighted. So the CEO prioritises each of these areas, so there isn't really a sense that marketing's just a fluffy newsletter that we send out every 6 months. Each of these areas are core enabling teams that are really central to the business. So, how does a tiny little team in the backwaters of Adelaide, of all places, become an innovator? Well, We've been doing it for years and we're used to innovation. Since we were SAPAC, we've been building the latest and greatest HPC machines that have always ranked in the top 5 of the world rankings, mostly at number 2 and once at number 1. We're used to making technology mashups work. So one of our user groups that we work with is genomics, and they're interested in connecting large memory storage nodes to HPC. So that's just an example of how we've kind of pushed bits of technology together to meet the needs of our audience. So basically we like to say what we do is not normal IT. It's not enterprise, it's not corporate IT. It's weird stuff that has different requirements, different sort of security requirements. It needs to be a lot more flexible. And because of that experience, we've kind of become innovation enablers. So what we do just happens to be innovative, but what we're allowing people to do with what we provide is become innovators themselves. We have experienced disruption firsthand, and we have been disrupted, and sort of change is our constant. In 2012, when I said, that started to shape what we look like now, that came through a $6 million cash injection from the Australian federal government that wanted to look at whether we could build an experimental national cloud for researchers, and also locally a 6-petabyte storage network that integrated into a larger national storage network. So it completely changed the nature of the work that we did and what we could offer to our users. So now we could offer complete solutions and not just HPC in a box and then maybe some visualization and maybe some sort of even, back in those days, video conferencing was brand new and exciting. It's our core business. We live and breathe innovation. We just kind of have to know it if we want to be of value to our users. We build solutions that can't be met by the market. You can't kind of buy what we do off the internet. You can't purchase one through Amazon. There's so much more that we do than just the infrastructure. We provide support layers, service layers, interaction layers. And the other thing is it's a strategic priority from our leadership. So our CEO is passionate about innovation, and she's been doing it her whole career, and we're just really fortunate and lucky that she's come to Adelaide and she's working with us and taking us forward. So what is innovation and what are its implications? So not everybody wants innovation. It's actually pretty hard, and it's like a bit unsettling. If you've ever worked in a constantly changing environment, you can get a sense that it's a bit difficult, and this romanticism around innovation being sort of sexy and new sort of disguises the fact that there are some fairly uncomfortable implications for being in an innovation environment. Kerry Campbell talked about, if the shoe fits and if you want to wear the new shoes, then you've got to expect a little bit of discomfort, and I think, that's exactly what innovation's like. It means disruption, discomfort, staff changes, that you look at that chart and there's quite a few faces there that weren't there maybe a few years ago. And that's just the nature of change. So in our experience, we are comfortable with being uncomfortable. We kind of find that exciting and we're used to it. And we've noticed that change is our main constant. So, if things stay the same for too long, something's not right. Okay. So what have we done with this experience and expertise? So the mere nature of what we do and the people that we work with makes us really attractive. What we do is exciting and people want to work with us, and that includes vendors, researchers, our audiences, and which we hope they would want to, otherwise there's no point, and commercial research groups. So we do get approached a lot of the time saying, "Oh, we've got this brand new tool, but we don't know if it will work, and we're looking for a sort of a use case. Do you know of anybody who would need this thing?" And so we've done quite well out of those approaches. ERSA's got a 100 gigabit Ethernet software-defined network because we were willing to be a reference or a test site. And the thing is, not everybody has the time or the capacity to do that. But ERSA does, and we are in an innovation or a research and development environment, and it's in our interests to give these things a go and provide value to our audiences that they might not be able to access any other way, and they probably couldn't purchase it commercially. It's just that particular, IT toy we got to test, and now we've got access to it, which is really cool. And also, if you haven't heard of Adelaide, that probably makes it a really safe environment to test, to research and development, and to fail, because it's kind of out of the glare of the eastern states, but the market's still large enough to be able to trial things properly. So basically, I've given you a bit of a summary as to how we've got here, and now I kind of want to talk to you about what's coming next. So all of these kind of factors have aligned to lead us to our current direction. And I'm kind of excited to be able to give you a preview of our innovation platform, which we've called Tango. So Tango is a really exciting mix of IT infrastructure that enables sort of flexibility to offer new services and solutions. But mainly what it is, it's a sandpit and it's a safe place to test and fail. So if you want to try out a technology solution, you can come to us and we will work with you to figure out what it is that you do want, because we'll work that through with you. And we can trial it and test it and make sure it works, and it's relatively low cost. And once you've decided what you do want, you can go and take your production solution to another place, like Amazon or something like that, if that's what you need. The platform is a collaboration. It's not locked into one vendor, which is, I think, how it should be. So it means that we can kind of continue to innovate and bring in new technology solutions as required. And the platform also enables new markets for ERSA that will hopefully drive innovation in South Australia and encourage new economic opportunities and job creation, which is a big priority for us in Adelaide. So the partners that are involved in the Tango platform include our 3 member universities, some research institutes, and also some technology vendors. So just on this partners issue, the technology vendors actually approached us when we started talking about the idea of an innovation platform, and they're really excited to be able to work together and provide something that's new and exciting and test out their kit in that sort of safe place that I described. So this is quite exciting for us because it enables us to offer this platform through 2 types of business models. So there's an infrastructure as a service element, which enables us to sort of provide a business-to-business type solution. So those partnering technology vendors are actually interested in using this infrastructure as their back end to their technology solutions, which is great for us. And then we've also got the ability to have a business-to-consumer type relationship, which is what we've got with our researchers at the moment. So it enables us to kind of do anything as a service for our current user base, and it sort of enables us to enter new markets as well. So the platform is a single point of entry for someone. It keeps it simple for the innovator. You don't need, the innovator has an idea about how they want to improve something. They might not necessarily have an idea about how technology works or what they need. So this is a really good place where you can come to get the infrastructure that you might through something like Amazon or another technology provider, but actually get the support and the managed service to help you through that. the benefit of being vendor agnostic is that the new technologies, we can introduce them as they emerge, and they can run alongside the present ones, and the connections and how that all works can be managed by the by either the researchers or the technologists. Okay, so why would you do this, and who's asking for it? So there's a number of good examples, and if you have heard of Adelaide, you probably know that we have a successful festival season in March called Bad March, with the Fringe Festival and the Adelaide Festival, and we're also really bad at keeping the lights on. So for the South Australian Government, modelling the South Australian electricity grid and the usage is really important. And we've worked with some software company who's been tasked with modelling this grid. Now, of course, that has huge IT implications, and once they started trying to run these models, they realised it just couldn't be handled by their standard desktop computer or situation, and they were sort of wondering how on earth they would, move forward with this project. Do we have to go to a technology service provider? Which one do we choose? If only there was an organisation that sort of allowed us to R&D. This isn't necessarily commercial work. This is stuff that's good for the state. And I'm not quite sure how we found them, but they found us. I think we ran an innovation symposium in Adelaide, and they just happened to come along. And we started talking to them about the types of services that we offer, and we ended up giving them some cloud computing resource so that they could run their models in the cloud. And that's a really good outcome. So that's something that we've kind of have been able to work with them to build a solution. Now they're just ticking away on the infrastructure and delivering what they need to the government. So we feel we can roll it out to smart meter monitoring and analysis on water and transport as well. We also work with some sort of cancer genomics research groups which require high compute and storage. We've had discussions with sports science areas, so as a bit of a sports fan myself, it's really nice to know that you can kind of improve the efficiency of your local sporting team through simulation and modelling and analytics. And you can also cure disease, but yeah, whatever. And also, if you know anything about South Australia, we do very good wine, and so making sure wine innovation continues so we can all have a good drop to drink at the end of the day, and that the agriculture and the farmers are sustainable. So we're looking at some really cool stuff around sort of like an Internet of Things and developing interesting network ways of sharing those little, those small packets of data and how people might access them. Okay. So what's next for us? What's not next for us? The innovation and change could take us anywhere. That's what we've found. And if this talk has inspired you, please come and have a chat to me afterwards. It's probably been quite broad and not particularly specific, but I think that's what we're about. It's about the potential and the possibilities, and that's what innovation is. Next things for the platform will be testing and launching it. So we're looking for beta testers and early adopters who are kind of interested in trialling something in a very safe space. Feel free to fail and fail again. And the final thing is keep an eye out for our launch, and we hope to see you there. And that's it from me. I cannot see a thing. If I've been squinting, that's why. Excellent. It hasn't really come up yet, but the new infrastructure will scale to AWS, so it will be able to burst out in there. Yeah. I don't think a lot of genomics researchers can afford AWS at the moment.
afternoon. The chocolate. Thank you.
Thanks.